My name is Mark Jaros, and I'd like to welcome you to the Normandale Community College Fall Concert Choir recorded concert. We're in the time of COVID, obviously, and we've recorded these live with masking and appropriate social distancing, but we're sending it out via the internet since we aren't able at this point to have live audiences. So our first piece is Kyrie movement of the Mass Ordinary by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. This Mass is called the Spatzenmesse or Sparrow Mass, and it was composed in 1775. The reason it's called the Sparrow Mass is that it refers to the chirping sounds of the violins in the Sanctus and the Benedictus of this a Mass. You'll just have to take my word that these are bird-like sounds that appear later in the Mass, since today we're just recording the Kyrie and the Gloria. So the Kyrie, the text of the Ordinary of the Mass is Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. It's a penitential text. So I hope you enjoy Mozart's Spatzenmesse, the Kyrie movement from this Mass. This second movement from the Mozart Spatzenmesse, the Gloria, is intoned by Roberto Padua. He'll be singing the opening intonation, and then you'll notice the choir singing it. The Gloria is a much more energetic text. Glory to God is the text of the traditional Latin Mass. And just to tell you a little bit more about this work, Mozart composed it when he was working for Archbishop Colloredo of Salzburg. It was a job he didn't particularly enjoy, but he composed many of his masses for the Archbishop and for this little town at the time of Salzburg. The Archbishop only allowed the High Mass to be 45 minutes long, and so Mozart had to condense this composition to fit this time limit. So you'll notice that this Mass is as a whole rather truncated, and this Gloria actually speeds by very quickly. Mozart was well aware of his limitation and had to get this all done in 45 minutes. I hope you enjoy the Gloria movement, the second movement of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Spatzenmesse.
The first piece the concert band would like to perform for you is a piece called Celebration Fanfare by James Kernau. It's based on the Austrian composer Franz Joseph Haydn's famous melody from the second movement of his string quartet in C major, often referred to as the Emperor Quartet. This melody served as the national anthem of Austria for more than a century and has been used frequently as hymns, national anthems, and alma maters worldwide. Joyful and energetic music is a trademark of American composer James Kernau, and this piece is no exception. Kernau develops fanfares and flourishes throughout the piece, as well as a beautiful segment of the original hymn tune. So here is Celebration Fanfare by James Kernau.
Freddy Freeloader, written, recorded, and released in 1959 by Miles Davis, was the spacious and relaxed second track of the landmark album Kind of Blue, announcing the arrival of the modal era of jazz. This arrangement by Michael Philip Mossman features multiple soloists and an extensive band soli.
Our next piece is by Felix Mendelssohn, and it was published in 1875. This beautiful motet, Verleih uns Frieden, uses Martin Luther's text, Verleih uns Frieden, which is a German translation of the Latin prayer for peace. The Latin prayer is Da Pacem Domine, a traditional text. But Da Pacem Domine means give us peace, God. And you'll notice in this really beautiful motet a clear use of the Lutheran chorale, the four-part chorale at one point, the highlight of the piece. The full text is, God grant us peace in these difficult times. Only God can fight for us. God alone saves us. Hope you enjoy this beautiful motet, Verleih uns Frieden, composed by Felix Mendelssohn. Our next piece, the Dies Irae, is by choral composer Ryan Main and is a relatively new composition. Although the musical setting is new, the text is actually quite old. It's another movement from a mass, in this case, the Requiem Mass, and it comes from the Latin chant sequence, which is part of the Requiem liturgy. The Dies Irae refers to the day of wrath, the day of mourning that comes at the end of times when the saved souls will be freed and the condemned souls will be the subject of the burning fires of hell. Well, you can certainly notice in the piano part and in the emotional affect of this piece, this quite emotional text has been sung by the choir. This is actually one of their favorites this semester, and I hope you enjoy this setting of the ancient Requiem Mass, the Dies Irae from the Latin sequence.
The concert band would next like to perform a march called the Invercargill March by Alex Lithgow. It was named after his hometown of Invercargill on the South Island of New Zealand. The Invercargill March rates alongside John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever, Kenneth Alford's Colonel Bogey March, and perhaps Johann Strauss's Radetzky March as one of the most popular in the world. It is especially popular in the United States, being a top favorite of the United States Marine Band. Now, it was the regimental march of the 56th Infantry Regiment of the New York Guard during World War II. So this march has quite a bit of history to it as you listen today. So we hope you enjoy this Invercargill March by Alex Lithgow.
Bag's Groove by Milt Jackson was written by Milt Jackson and titled after his own nickname, Bags. This straight-ahead swinging blues chart was first recorded Christmas Eve, 1954, for the album Miles Davis All-Stars, Volume 1. This arrangement by Mark Taylor stays true to the original and features several soloists.
This next piece, the Serenade, was composed by Anton Arensky. Anton Arensky was a Russian late Romantic composer who lived from 1861 to 1906. And you'll hear a lot of the late Romantic images and expressions in this beautiful piece written for cello. Arensky himself was a cellist, and I think you'll be able to tell because the expressive and the virtuosic quality of this cello part is pretty evident. We're joined here with cellist Charles Ash, who will be playing the solo cello part. It's rather an unusual arrangement for a cappella chorus and solo cello. You'll be able to listen for some late romantic, lush choral writing with some beautifully chromatic harmonies, and also with some tempo expressions. The expressive tempo fluctuations are known as rubato, and there's quite a bit of that in this piece. The Serenade is a beautiful, lovely text composed by a Russian poet. I hope that you enjoy this piece. It was also a favorite of the choruses. This piece, Serenade by Anton Arensky. There are two other pieces in this set. A total of 3 pieces make up the Opus 57. We hope to do the other ones later in the spring. The other movements are titled To Stars Extinguished Long Ago and The Hot Spring. So here, Anton Arensky's Serenade for solo cello and a cappella chorus. Composer Hans Leo Hassler was a German Renaissance composer of the late 16th century. And one of his most famous pieces actually is this motet, Dixit Maria. It was first published in 1591, and it has remained a very popular composition, recorded many, many times. It's a staple of the choral repertoire. And either it was such a popular tune at the time, or Hassler just liked this motet so much, or both. He published a parody mass based on this tune in 1599. The parody mass would be a mass ordinary, written based on this motet. And so the motet, Dixit Maria, captures the biblical story of Mary finding out that she's expecting a child, she's pregnant with the Son of God, and this was not altogether expected for her, and she famously, in the biblical story, accepts the challenge, really, to bear this child, and the text beautifully expresses that sentiment. The text is, "Behold the handmaiden of the Lord, let it be done to me according to your word." This saying yes, this fiat of Mary's, by accepting this rather challenging occurrence, the angel comes to her and announces that she will be bearing the Son of God. So this motet skillfully tells this beautiful and poignant story of Mary. And Dixit Maria, Dixit Maria, behold the handmaiden of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word.
Dixit Maria.
Pick Yourself Up by Jerome Kern and Dorothy Fields was originally conceived as a ballad for the 1936 musical Swing Time. Here, The tune has been completely reimagined as a cleverly orchestrated cha-cha by Mike Tomorrow, featuring interweaving melodic lines and a driving montuno in the piano. Soloists featured are Trig Stewart on baritone saxophone and Jeff Olson on trumpet.
Our final piece with the Normandale Vocal Ensemble is a piece that I'm sure many of you will recognize. It's the tune Happy Together. And Happy Together was a #1 pop hit for the group The Turtles in 1967. I think you'll enjoy the part. Something to listen for in this arrangement is note how the choruses tend to be in a higher range and in a major key, as opposed to the verses in this piece that are in a minor key, and they tend to be lower. The vocal arrangement is a really does a subtle and not so subtle job of imitating the instrumentation in the original pop recording. So I hope you enjoy it. Happy Together, piece performed by the Normandale Vocal Ensemble, arranged by Liz Garnett. The original composition was by Gary Boner and Alan Gordon, arranged by Liz Garnett. A rather skillful arrangement of this piece, Happy Together.
So happy together, so happy together. Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the one you love and hold them tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you, and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together. So happy together. I can't be loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together. Me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together. So happy together.
My Little Suede Shoes, originally written, recorded, and released in 1952 by Charlie Parker. This seemingly Caribbean-inspired melody follows the classic AABA form of so many tunes from the American Songbook, which were embraced by the musicians of the bebop era of jazz. Mark Taylor's treatment of the tune is a light-hearted, charming ride that features short solos in the trumpet and alto saxophone.
Norwegian composer Johan Halvorsen was born in Drammen, Norway on March 15, 1864, and died in Oslo on December 4th, 1935. He was a violinist and a composer, and he was appointed conductor of the theater in Bergen and was also the conductor of the Christiania National Theater, where he conducted more than 25 operas and gave regular concerts there. Halvorsen's compositions developed the national romantic tradition of Edvard Grieg, but in a very distinctive style and brilliant orchestration. This piece, the Entry March of the Boyars, was composed by Halvorsen in 1893 and quickly became an international success. It is one of his most famous pieces and is still today played many times around the world. The title Entry March of the Boyars is inspired by the Romanian boyars into Bucharest in the 18th century. The boyars were Russian aristocrats, also of a privileged class in Romania. So we hope you enjoy this, the Entry March of the Boyars by Johan Halvorsen.